please stand for the pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you everyone for coming, and those watching on TV. As far as mayor's report, I really don't have much to say except for just a short update. As everybody knows, we hired a company to do a feasibility study for possibility of a hotel in the urban area. And we had a meeting with them this last week with the final draft. And so things are moving forward. It sounded very promising, what they were recommending and suggesting. And so we're going to the next stage now to try and move forward and get company interest and so forth. So anyway, it's a very positive thing. So that's really the only thing that I wanted to mention, just in case anybody had any questions. Okay, we'll move on to city administrator.
So the sales tax revenue for this month is really good. It came in $20,000 over the same month last year. Very strong. Corey and I have been conducting some interviews last week for the vacancy that we have in the office, and have a couple promising candidates, which is fantastic. And so we might have someone suggested to you in the next meeting or so. So I told you all that MIRMA was no longer going to cover cyber liability insurance for us, but they are offering a program which is for cyber security education and what they're calling spear phishing with a P campaign. And I opted us into that program because there's no extra cost for it. And it'll have a rotating, 1 month it'll be an educational video that all the employees will watch. And then the next month they'll actually do a phishing exercise where they will send out things to test you if you pay attention to your video or not, I guess. And so I'll know more in a couple weeks, but your city email addresses might be included in that. I will let you know for sure if you're included in that or not. Or it might just be everybody who's connected to our server. But anyway, I thought that was good. That would be good education for everyone. The police car, Marlon got some news this week. The police car that we budgeted for, they had given him estimates of $37,900, and now it's $47,110. So partly due to inflation, and partly due to the fact that Ford is no longer offering the law enforcement discount. So Chief Walker is going to look around and get some bids from some other manufacturers and see if they offer such a thing. And we'll have more information for you to present to you at the next meeting, and we might need to vote on how we want to move forward at that time. Some public works things, some park things. The tennis court, the repairs are going to be done to the tennis court before the pickleball tournament, which is later this month. And the pool pump, we've been talking about raising the pool pump out of the pit and building it above ground for a long time. Ben had gotten an estimate last year for that it'd be $50,000. We have 60 saved up, so we went out for bids, only for them to come in at the lowest at 99 and the highest at 141. So Jesse and Ben and I conferred together, and our recommendation to the park board is going to be that we reject all the bids and try again in the spring. In the spring, we will know a couple things. One, we'll know whether or not we got the grant for the park lighting. And if we do, see, we already have all that money, so that would save us $75,000. It would also let us know, just it's going to be closer to the end of the fiscal year, and so we'll have a better feel for, how, if we were ahead of budget or if we're underwater. So we'll have a better read on it in the spring. So that was disappointing, but that seems to be the way these things are going. Streets. So the curb and gutter project will resume in a few weeks on East 8th and Schiller. And the water department crews are working on 7th Street, installing that new water main as time permits. Gas department has been installing new service lines and rerouting a couple others. and the electric department has been replacing poles, and they've installed a new transformer. It was just for a residential service, and Jesse was excited that they have all the wire pulled in CTOL for the upcoming loop. So that was all I had.
Very good. Thank you. Under public comments, I just have one that we're going to move back to the motions for the Lions. So we'll move on to ordinances.
The first, which is on for second reading, is bill number 2022-45, an ordinance to approve an intergovernmental agreement related to the law enforcement sales tax between the Gasconade County Commission, the Gasconade County Sheriff, and the City of Hermann, Missouri.
I have a motion to approve.
I move to approve Bill 2022-45, second read.
Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
The next on for first reading is bill number 2022-46, an ordinance to approve a contract agreement with Flowmaster Construction LLC for airport taxi lane construction.
And so as you all know, we held a special meeting, was that this last week, to approve the bid for the contractor for the airport. Now, these next two ordinances, if we could read them twice, again, time is of the essence, trying to get ahead of the winter weather. The first one here is going to be the actual contract for the contractor itself, who is Flowmaster. The second one is going to be our contract with the consultants, the engineers themselves. So it's two separate things related to the same project.
Anybody have any questions?
I will make one note on the next one that they had given me an estimate for their services, and they did increase it by $4,000. The consultant fee.
Do I have a motion to approve the contract?
Move bill number 2022-46, first read.
Motion made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Second time.
Bill number 2022-46, an ordinance to approve a contract agreement with Flowmaster Construction LLC for airport taxi lane construction.
Motion to approve second reading.
I'll move to approve bill number 2022-46, second read.
Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Next, for first reading, bill number 2022-47, an ordinance to approve an aviation project consultant supplemental agreement number 1 for airport taxi lane construction services.
Any questions? If not, may I have a motion, please?
Make the motion, bill number 2022-47.
Motion. Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
And for second reading, bill number 2022-47, an ordinance to approve an aviation project consultant supplemental agreement number 1 for airport taxi lane construction services.
Do I have a motion for second reading?
I'll move to approve bill number 2022-47, second read.
Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Is there any old business? Any new business? Last call. We'll move on to motions. Have a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
I move to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion to, give me a motion to pay the bills there.
I move we pay the bills.
Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Okay. Going to hire Alexander Lambert as a full-time police officer. Anybody have any questions before we move on?
Make the motion to approve.
Okay. Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Okay, approve the U.S. cellular tower relocation.
So, we have a cell tower currently up by the cemetery, and they want to take down the existing monopole that they have and build a new one. Now, we've been in communications with them for about a year back and forth. Initially, they wanted to build one tower and collate with our dispatching equipment and everything. And then they tried different locations, which would have denied us access to our tower and things. So after a lot of back and forth, and Corey doing a lot of it, this is what they are proposing. And so it's a brand new tower. The footage, square footage is increased. The old one was 27.5 by 29. This is going to be 50 by 50. And so, Corey, is there anything you want to say about the location? It looks like they made it to where we have plenty of egress and ingress and egress for us to get in there.
They assured us that at this location, we would have access with our own equipment to get to our own towers. And with that location, they also won't have to move the guy wires from our current tower.
Does AT&T have a tower there too?
Yeah, just close by, yes. So basically what they want tonight is if we agree on this location, then at the next meeting, we will need to negotiate the terms of the lease. As far as the price, if it should go up, and how long they're asking for. Did you read that it's an additional 50 years or 50 years from now? I'm not sure. We'd have to check with that. But they like these long-term leases, and the area where it is, and which is why they initially didn't want to go there, is it's very steep, and you know, Jesse and the guys don't feel like it's ever going to be usable property. It's on a really steep, hilly area. So I really don't see the harm in probably a long lease. Do you have any comments?
No, I don't have any comments. They seem to want a commitment from the city to consider extending the term and also practically tripling the amount of square feet of the lease area. They didn't say anything about increasing the rent. But I think that, yeah, right. As Tricia said, you would have a new lease in front of you eventually to approve that would have the rent provisions and anything else that they think they want to propose to be in there.
Right. I'm assuming they'd pay to remove and clean up the old tower.
And what they'll pay will be comparable, I guess, to what AT&T is paying, or do they have a smaller area than what they're going to have?
I'm not sure what AT&T's paying right off the top of my head. But right now they're paying 13, 18, 20. She's a machine. Thank you. And I'll look, I think the AT&T tower is $1,000. You know, I might have that with me. I think the AT&T tower was $1,000. So it's comparable.
Any other questions? Now, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll approve the U.S. cellular tower relocation.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Conditional use permit renewal, Mark 9 LLC, the White House Hotel, 232 Wall Street, outdoor liquor.
Motion to approve.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Conditional use permit renewal for Hermann Incorporated doing business as 10 Mill Brewing Company, 114 Gutenberg Outdoor Liquor. Do I have a motion to approve this?
I'll move to approve.
Motion been made, second.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
So carried. Approved bid for 1,400 feet of 6-inch pipe for the water line installation.
I move to approve the purchase of the pipe.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Approve the low bid of $5,880 from Lamke Trenching and Excavating for boring of the park lighting project.
I'll move to approve.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Approved bid from Mort Tractor and Equipment for a grasshopper lawnmower with 41-inch deck for the cemetery in the amount of $6,705.
I move to approve.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And ayes have it. Okay, caterer's permit application for the Friendship Brewery for lunch, for the motorcycle. This was this last weekend. This is what you all approved up by the phone vote. So we'll move on to caterer's permit application for Dogmaster Distillery, Samuel Burton Distilling Company, Firmway Distilling Company for the Smokefest 2022 at the amphitheater, September 17th, 2022.
I move to approve.
Motion's been made to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Caterer's permit application for the Old Vine Kitchen Emporium, Witches and Wine, 4th and Schiller Street for October 20th, 2022.
Move to approve.
Motion's been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Festival event application for the Muskrat Society for historic display in the rear lot of Worst House on Gutenberg on October 8th, 2022. Have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion made, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Festival event application, Hermann Lions Club, kettle corn sales, southwest corner of Gutenberg and First Street, Saturday and Sundays in October. Ron, if you had a card, you want to speak, please?
Yeah, please. I'm Ron Scratley. I'm the past president of the Lions here in Hermann. Steve is the current president. This started while I was in the process, and also Steve got a real job and has to do work, and he wasn't sure he was going to be able to make it tonight. So I'm speaking on behalf of the Lions. We are looking for approval of the location that we've been planning on for quite some time. We've somewhat used it in the past, but in the past we didn't have the equipment we're going to have this year. This year we have a whole new setup for kettle corn that is a lesser footprint that was designed to fit in the property at First and Gutenberg because of the traffic that is there, the foot traffic that is, not the car traffic, which there is that too. We can see there is a lot of activity that goes on in that corner. One of the reasons we want to be there is because of the activity. About 3 years ago, we had a satellite operation down there. We popped it up at Gutenberg, or Schiller and First, and we carted it down there, and we couldn't keep up with the demand. There's a lot of people walking through that area, and there's a lot of people that we sold kettle corn to. So we had the opportunity with this new equipment to somewhat compact it. And I've given you guys a picture of it. It's more finished than that. It's got a roof on it and other things, and the equipment go on it. But that's the size of the operation that's going to be there. We can run it with a minimum. We probably could do 3, but we'd probably staff it with 4 people to make sure that we can keep up with the volume of popcorn. That's one of the problems we had with the old one, is we couldn't keep up with the volume. So with this new equipment and the new location, we think we'll be able to increase our profits, which is what we're in this for, that we can return those profits back to your constituents here in the city of Hermann, the community of Hermann, and so forth. All the money that we raise, this is our primary fundraiser, is used to go back to fund scholarships, to fund things such as the pickleball court that we're hoping to raise some money for and add it to that and so forth. It's not used to run the Lions here locally. As a matter of fact, our charter says we can't do that. Our local organization is ran through the dollars that are generated by the dues that the members pay. So we're not subsidizing ourselves. We are there for volunteering for the community. And that's the whole purpose we're doing that. Now, we will concede the fact, like I said, it's a very busy intersection. And I will go back to that year we had the satellite station there that we were selling the kettle corn. And that was the year that the trolley had an accident out by Village Market. And the ambulances came through there and so forth, and they were able to make it through. And you know, I can't tell you how the police handled it, but we saw the ambulances going through that day without a problem. And we're going to be foot traffic. We aren't looking at pedestrian, or we're not looking at car traffic stopping and so forth. As a matter of fact, kettle corn is an impulse item. So we need to be where the people are. Like we've said before, the smell is what sells. Us popping there, it gets the scent out, it gets people wanting to come buy popcorn from us, and that's a real purpose. We're trying to go to that location. It's also it's a desire to try and maximize the profit, just like any other good business, and that's what we think we can do at that place. It no is an easy answer. We know that, but yes is what we're looking for. We're looking at getting that location, returning the monies back into the people of Hermann. And as a matter of fact, I know that there's been concerns raised by some of well, Marlon possibly, about the concern, but if anything else, you got an extra set of eyes there, you got an extra set of people that can react to a situation that occurs. Like I said, we are not a destination. We are not the winery. We are not the brewery. We are a impulse item, and we need to be where the people are to sell it. And we hope to increase our sales tremendously this year by that location and our new equipment.
I think everybody understands what you're trying to do, and I think everybody is supportive of the Lions. The Lions do a lot for the town and the surrounding areas. I think the bottom line is the safety issue of that corner. All the Roman...
Linger?
Lost my train of thought from that. Linger, yeah, all right. Anyway, she called the state in, what, 2 years ago, and we had meetings down there because of the issues of so many people trying to do something with, possibly doing something with the crosswalks to try and, you know, the police do the best they can, but the police chief, as far as I understand, is not in favor of that location, and because of the safety aspect. Me personally, I want to support you, but I have to support what the police chief says myself. I don't have a vote on this, it's up to these people. But I'm just telling you how I feel about it. You know, I want, you know, I know you guys do great things, guys and ladies, and I understand that, but number one, in my mind, the priority is the safety issue. You know, if you have a super busy weekend, that second weekend when there's so many people, and I don't know. Yeah.
Well, and again, I gave you guys handouts, some pictures that shows
I understand
the setup, and I understand Marlon's concerns, and rightfully so. But if anything else, you'll have more eyes and ears down there than you would otherwise. And
the eyes and ears don't help the person. I mean, they help the person after the person's been hit.
But you know, if we're selling kettle corn there or not, that accident can happen.
That is correct.
And I don't think we were going to grant
but
that
why
accident.
add to?
I don't think we would add to it. I think that if anything, we would supplement the.
Can I say something?
Yes, you may.
You have 4 other locations you could go to, and one is just on the other side of that building in Sloan's parking lot, if he gave you guys permission. Wouldn't that be a good spot?
Probably.
It's right there on the street.
I know what you're saying. It's not the same location. It's not a very good location because there's going to be other things, and we'd have to move the trailer out every week and move it back in to give Mike his parking lot back. And also, he has disposals out there that would have some smells and so forth. So
But he
and
offered
that's
it,
just
so-
part of the business.
Or what about at the car wash parking lot or at the J.C.'s?
The farther you get away from the people, the less we're going to make. I mean, you gotta hunt where the ducks are. That's what I was always told. That's
I don't
what
want
we're
some
looking-
ducks to get ran over.
Well, we don't either. We will be monitoring that just as well, and I'm sure Marlon already has a plan for that.
Well, we'll let Marlon speak if he would.
Yeah.
Again, Mr. Chief, the safety unit sign right on that location, that is our busiest intersection on Oktoberfest weekends. Vehicle traffic, pedestrian traffic, we have buses turning down there, party vans. That's our busiest intersection. So having anything on that corner and the risk of anyone possibly being struck or anything happening is just, the risk is too high. So again, it's a great organization, but for 1 week, the Muskrat, I understand, is going to be there. Mike Sloan's lot. After that, they're gone, and that he's offered that for the next 4 weekends for y'all to be just pretty much 20 feet down from the corner, or wherever it is to sell the next 4 weekends. I mean, there's enough traffic there, or even that First Street, with vehicle traffic, foot traffic on First Street, that people are
I
going to
will-
find the pothole, and they're not going to miss it or not come by it. Been 20 years, they're going to find your pothole. They're going to see it. Either one of those locations, they're going to find it.
I will tell you, last year, and this is for the whole group, last year we were at what is the old Goodbyes lot right there, and the year before that, we were on the Trolley Man's lot on that corner, and it wasn't available last year, so we had the Goodbyes lot, and we went down by about 10% because there weren't people walking by.
What
They-
happened
they
to
were-
the
they-
caboose?
We had to get them to come across the street.
What happened to the caboose location? Weren't you all there?
There's an agreement that was entered in by the Lions years ago that said we wouldn't operate there. I'm
With
not
the
sure
city?
why. With the city. You,
It's only about 2 years old, and the letter is signed by Walter Ells, I guess he was the
He was
president
the
at the
president,
time. And that wasn't, that was asked by the caboose committee of the Lions Club. The city board didn't ask that of the Lions to give up their rights to do that, but that letter did get put in the file, because the caboose committee wanted to keep the caboose accessible and visible as possible. And now the Masons have the first right of refusal because that was theirs, used to be their caboose actually. So they're the only ones in that agreement who have the right to use the caboose.
but that's that same corner too, quite honestly.
So on this trailer, where would you be serving from? Where would the line?
It would be right up, let me grab one to show you. It would be right here. Here's a painted sidewalk. It would be coming out this side is where we'd be serving. Down, actually it'd be down this end, down towards the loading dock.
Okay.
That's where the right there actually at the trailer. Back in that area. Yeah, the back end of it.
So the tongue would be facing south or?
The tongue is facing Gutenberg south, yeah.
South, okay.
Yeah, that's where the tongue is.
So the line could conceivably come.
I take it back,
come
and
north.
down here, it'd be right here is where we'd be selling, the back end of it, yeah.
So the north, the line would be able to wrap
Yeah.
north.
Yeah.
So the back end of the trailer, swing doors or?
It doesn't have doors, it has a gate that closes it off to the general public, it's pretty much
It won't
open.
have serving windows on the side?
It has a serving counter that's inside the trailer, so it doesn't occupy any space. Matter of fact, if we were using the old one, we ran with a huge tent we had to put up, which took a lot of space because we needed the shade, we needed to have the place to sell it. This is all self-contained, it's compact, and it's all for that purpose.
You're not going to be providing seating arrangements
There
or
will
tables?
not be any public seating. The only seats that might be there, if somebody brings a lawn chair to sit down while they're relaxing and trying to make popcorn. That'd be the only thing that we would have. There's not going to be a picnic table, there's not going to be a bench.
I don't have what they're looking at. Where's the line of people gonna be?
Yes.
Here, people.
You have the.
I don't.
Yeah, they've got it. Where's the one that?
Oh, this one, sorry.
Here, make sure I'm going the right way. The tongue is down here, so actually the serving would be out of this area right here. So it'd be like right there.
Oh, so it's like an open trailer.
Yeah. And it has equipment on it and stuff. It has a roof on it now too, so.
I mean, you don't think people will be deep enough to go into the sidewalk area there?
Well, we'll be selling along this area, it won't be just that area. This area is where we're gonna be
So I
selling.
guess the concern is, the ordinance says that no line of people or no queue of people wanting your services can be in the pedestrian walkway. So do you ever foresee people being that deep as to get into, is that 5 feet?
It's over 5 feet, yeah. It's over 5 feet, we measured it off, so.
So, yeah, so
I know that, and I can vouch that where Tricia's kind of going with that there's a herd mentality sometimes, and as well thought out as the trailer might be, there might be some queuing happening even out into the street when you get a group of 10 people coming, walking, seeing it and smelling it and wanting it.
Well, and one of the things that we've offered, or would offer, is to cordon off along the painted sidewalk and keep them within that range. We have talked about that too, if that would appease for the safety aspect. We will be able to do that if that's what you want. Put up a fence of sort, a cordon off that in order to get in there, you go in that way and you can't get any deeper than what that allows.
Again, like it said, from my perspective, I don't want it there.
I understand.
Pedestrian traffic, vehicle traffic, buses turning, party bus, everything, that's the busiest intersection. If you're down a few feet after the first weekend in that lot, which sits back a little bit, you're still gonna get all the traffic.
We're not gonna get the traffic that you're gonna have on First Street.
We're
We'll lose
moving less
that.
than 20 feet, people are gonna see the popcorn.
It's quite a
There's enough
distance.
traffic
We
going
looked
down
at it.
Woodenberg,
Yeah.
and First Street, to Hermann, and Tin Mill Brewery, and everything is right there. So they're gonna see the yellow jackets and the kettle corn and smell it to go by. They're not gonna say, where's the popcorn? It's like right there. I mean, they're not gonna miss it. I mean, I understand everything you all do is great for the community. I don't wanna try to say you shouldn't do it, but as a chief,
I understand.
I don't wanna put anything.
And we don't want to put anybody in jeopardy, and we don't think we're putting anybody that's in jeopardy that's not right
It's
there.
gonna be available that has more space, or if you don't wanna be at the First Street in Schiller, I understand that, but after the first weekend, you have 4 weekends in that back lot, which is safer than right on that corner. I don't understand, you're still gonna have your business and make money. I mean, you're not gonna lose any business being 20 feet down. Everybody's gonna see you right there.
I guess we'll agree to disagree. We think the other location's a better location.
That's my.
And I understand your concern from the safety
It's up to the
perspective,
board
and we're
to decide.
concerned about the safety as well too. And we will do whatever we can to keep that area safe. But I will tell you, if you got an inebriated person crossing the street and he falls down, it's not because we're doing kettle corn. Or if somebody runs a car into a group of people, it's not because we're selling
I
kettle
have
corn.
large buses turning that corner, I have a ton amount of foot traffic and everything else right there. Everybody's flowing that way, or Bloomberg, coming off First Street off the bridge, or coming into town. That's the busiest area on Saturdays till 6 o'clock. After that, it dies down to the beer garden or Tin Mill, or wherever they're at. Up till 6 o'clock, that intersection is crazy. That's our busiest intersection. So have anything on that corner just adds to it. I don't want anyone to possibly get injured.
We don't either. We don't want anybody to get hurt. We really don't. I agree with you that, and I don't think we're adding to it, but we'll agree to disagree on that one, Marlon.
But you got up to the board, but I'd rather be down a little bit from right there.
All right. Do you all have any other questions or discussion that you all want?
One note that I'll add in that the Alliance does have a letter of approval of the property owner.
Right.
on
This is private property,
Private
you're right.
property to establish. You would
And we
be
do
off-
have insurance too, by the way, which we would be able to give you tonight. Ken's got it here.
You would be off of the, if you will, the ADA painted
Mhm.
pretend sidewalk, because years ago that was railroad track.
Mhm.
There's never been a sidewalk
We know that.
there. No other questions?
Anybody else? Do I have a motion?
I would make a motion to approve the Lions application.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? No second. Motion dies. Correct.
The motion to approve does, now we're just back in limbo where we were.
Can I make a motion? I make a motion that we approve this event for all the weekends of Oktoberfest, but at Mr. Sloan's lot. That's a compromise.
Well, I would rather, if we're going to do that,
But we have to decide. So
but I would give you a preference. I'd rather go back to the Goodbyes lot, if that's still on the table, rather than doing it down at the, again,
Schiller and
Mike has a business there.
Right.
And Mike, we don't want to interfere with his business, and we want to leave the equipment set up. Now, let me offer you one more thing. I realize the motion's died and so forth, but what if we try it for 1 week and at least see if it's any kind of problem?
It's up to them, but I have to stand behind the police chief, I mean, I'm sorry.
Okay, can I make a new motion?
You can make a
Another
motion.
motion? I move that we approve the Lions Club to sell the kettle corn all the weekends of Oktoberfest at either the location at Schiller and First or at Mr. Sloan's parking lot.
Okay,
Can I do that?
everybody understand that motion?
No comment?
Do I have a second to that motion?
Ron?
What happens?
He said you could be there yet. He said you could be there all those weekends. It's in an email.
Even with the muskrats?
Mhm.
Ron, is there room at Goodbyes, is it like the excavation?
That would have to be cordoned off. I would think you'd be interested in that safety.
They said they would cordon it off.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. So she's made a motion. Do I have a second from anyone? To let them go on one of those two locations.
Second.
Motion is made, second, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sorry we can't approve where you want to
Okay.
go, but I truly believe it's a safety issue, but hopefully,
So I will need to know by the next Board of Alderman meeting which location it's going to be, where you're going to.
These guys will bring in the meeting Tuesday night. They need to know the specific location. which we-
So you need to do application, right?
No.
I can amend it, I just need to know by the next meeting, so we can approve your vendor space permit, which location you all
Oh,
prefer.
All right, thank you.
okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion made, second.
I'll second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye. Thank you everyone for attending.
Yes. Thanks, sign.